Hey guys, my name is Miranda and you're watching my channel Friends with Creepers. Today I'll be showing you a walkthrough of the Iron Tomb dungeon in Rift. If you played Rift before, then you've probably seen this dungeon a million times, but I had to start somewhere. So I'm going to explain everything from what level you need to be, quest, how to find the place, boss strategies, etc. If you find that you don't care about where to find the quest and you just need to know how to kill a specific boss, then please feel free to check out the description box below the video. There I have all the timestamps marked down and a table of contents set up where you can click what part of the video you need to watch. With that out of the way, I'll start with the walkthrough. Iron Tomb is a level 19 dungeon located in Freemarch, the Defiant starting zone. You can attempt the dungeon as early as level 16 or 17 with a good group, and repeat it for decent experience and fat loots up until your early 20s. The only quest that I picked up outside the dungeon is part of a somewhat annoying quest chain. It's called Saga of the Endless Tombs of Old, and I think the quest that takes you into the dungeon is called Cutting Off Communications. I'm honestly not sure because I didn't do it. To get the Tombs of Old quest, you actually need to do a quest chain that starts with this quest called the Saga of the Endless on the shores of Freemarch, which you get from Ashkatari and Meridian. On the Shores of Freemarch consists of doing 4 separate quests, which you can get as soon as you head to Meridian as long as you do your race-specific quest first. Besides that, all the other quests you can pick up in Iron Tomb. Iron Tomb should be located on your map, but if you have any trouble finding it, it's pretty easy to get to. All you need to do is head to Alien Fields and follow the road west until you enter the dungeon. Now we're going to start the actual gameplay for the walkthrough. When I was filming this run, I wasn't really doing so well on healing since it was my first time healing as a Chronomancer, and our group makeup really wasn't that great. We got about a third of the way through into the dungeon before 2 of our group members left and we had to start over. The second run went a lot smoother, and that's the run I'll be showing you. Unfortunately, you won't see the actual quest I picked up on the first run. Instead, you'll just have to listen to me say, hey, pick up that quest. When you enter the dungeon, you will see a cutscene between Ilium's ghost and Alsbeth the Discordant. You have to wait for the cutscene to end, and when it does, Ilium will give you 2 quests, called Relics of the March Warden and Source of the Control. After you pick up those 2 quests, you're going to start fighting the first mobs in the dungeon. You're going to see various different ones such as pillagers, sharpshooters, etc. All of them are fairly simple and shouldn't give you any trouble whatsoever. You just have to keep an eye out for endless phantasms. They generally just roam around between the groups and they can do some pretty intense damage by themselves, so you want to make sure that you do not aggro them while you're trying to kill another group, or else your tank and your healer are going to have to struggle really hard to keep you guys alive. A couple rooms later, you're going to run into your first boss. His name is Cor Ashstone. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But Ashstone is up on some stairs, and you'll see that I marked the stairs. They're on the right, and I highlighted that entire area because he tends to patrol the area. You want to be careful that you do not pull him while you're actually killing other groups of mobs that stand on the area. Otherwise, you're probably going to wipe. Killing Ashstone is fairly easy since he's a tank and spank boss. You just have to keep an eye out for his stacking debuff called Jagged Wounds. Honestly, it doesn't do that much damage as long as you burn him down very quickly. If you were to allow it to go on longer, it would do more damage and you'd have to worry about it. If your group is having trouble with him, then just try getting extra healers to help heal later on in the fight. Otherwise, just burn him down as quickly as possible. You shouldn't have any trouble with him. I didn't realize he was a boss until I looked up and I was like, oh, hey, it's Ashstone. The next NPC that you need to keep an eye out for is Davian Crow. He's under the stairs of where you just spot Ashstone, and I marked him out on the map for you. He will give you a quest called You Are Who They Call. When you accept the quest, a chest will spawn next to him. In that chest, it contains a spectral bane, and you need to make sure that you pick that up, or otherwise you won't be able to complete the quest later. The next boss fight is the 3 Kings boss fight. You'll notice that I marked it on the map, and it is just a little ways after Davian Crow. When you start the boss fight, you're going to have to fight Humbert the Bold. He's very easy, it's just as long as you remember 2 things. He has a frontal cleave and a knockback, meaning you want your tank to tank him facing away from the group and have the tank's back up against a statue so that he doesn't get knocked back. When you kill him, you'll have to kill Derbek the Magus. He's fairly easy, he just has a nuke spell called Life Rend that can cast on anyone in the group. Just make sure that your healer is alert and keeps an eye on everyone's health for this next fight. Lyric the Ascendant will spawn after you kill Derbek. He has a heal, so just make sure to interrupt whenever you see Unholy Mending being cast. Once you kill Lyric the Ascendant, you'll have to fight all 3 of them at the same time. This is fairly simple as long as you remember a kill order. You need to kill Lyric first since he has a heal, then you need to kill Darabik since he's the mage and he does some pretty serious damage, then you'll need to kill Humbert because he's attacking you and that's not good, right? Just make sure that your tank grabs Humbert and Lyric first and then goes over to Darabik because he's a ranged attacker. Other than that, you shouldn't have a lot of trouble as long as you remember the kill order, which my group didn't. After you down all 3 of the bosses, you'll then see a spectral trap activate on the floor. It's a giant big blue circle with light coming out of it. Yeah, it's pretty hard to miss. This is for the quest You Are Who They Call, and you're going to have to use the Spectral Bane that you picked up earlier to capture Spectral Screamers, I believe they're called, and lure them over to the light. You can see that I didn't do it right, and I was just like spam clicking it because I was like, why isn't this working? It's because you need to right click it, not left click it. Yeah, my bad. You will have to collect 10 Spectral Screamers before a little lever will appear on the floor. When you pull the lever, a chest will appear, and it has some free loots in it. After you loot the chest, you can go and talk to Tobias Layton. Tobias will give you a quest called Laid to Rest, which you'll end up doing later. In the following room, you will find these giant masses of stuff called death shards. These can be tricky for an unsuspecting group, and if your healer can't keep up with incoming damage, then you'll have to try a different tactic than just beating it down, letting everything spawn. Groups of mobs will spawn every 20%, so you want to stop attacking about 60% and 20%, or just till 0% because nothing spawns at 0. This will allow you to kill 2 groups of the mobs at one time without having to worry about too much damage. This next part is for if you grabbed the quest earlier called Saga of the Endless Tombs of Old, something like that. It might be cutting off communications. I just might be a liar. I don't even know. You'll notice that I marked 2 yellow golden areas on the map, and the first area is just like a little intersection. That's where Alpseth's communication device is. It's sitting on a table on the right side. In the second golden area, there's going to be a room with a death shard, and inside a box behind the death shard is Alpseth's communicator. After you get the quest items for cutting off communications, or whatever it's called, there's gonna be this giant room with a bunch of like orbs and shadow fiends in it. It's kinda ominous because you don't know what you're supposed to do. I marked on the map where it is, and I marked what path you want to take, because in that room, that giant room of scary looking stuff, is a bag of amulets for the quest Source of the Control. And to get through this area, you need to remember a couple things. First things first, do not attack the Shadow Fiends. It's pointless. It just grabs aggro. It's not worth it. Secondly, always have your tank lead and always have everyone right behind them. If people start going random directions, people are going to die real fast. And what you want to do is you want your tank to follow the path I showed you, going from one orb to the next with everyone following behind them. And what happens when you go up to these orbs is they activate and they kill all the Shadow Fiends that are attacking you. The catch is the orbs deactivate after 10 seconds. If you wait at that orb, it will activate again in a couple of seconds, but in that time, you could be dead. So you need to keep moving from orb to orb. Go to the orb, let it kill the fiends, go to the next orb, kill the fiends, keep moving. If you need to heal, if you're the healer, and someone's taking a lot of damage, then you want to time your heals where there's no Shadow Fiends around, otherwise you're going to grab aggro and you're going to die. So make sure you follow that path and get the bag of amulets that's under the little like alcove under the stairs. You get the bag of amulets. You're going to want to follow the tank into the western exit. It's important that you go through the western exit because that's where you turn in your quest for Ilium. When you're there, you want to destroy the death shards, and when you do, Ilium's ghost will appear, and you will want to turn in the quest Source of the Control to Ilium's ghost. Make sure you stop for a moment and loot the chest. It has a sturdy pouch in it. I don't know what it has because I didn't stop and loot it. So you're going to go up the stairs, and oh hey, it's Ragnoth the Despoiler. He's a fairly quick and easy boss fight. All you have to remember is 3 things. depending on who you are. If you're the healer, you'd remember that he has a spell called Gout of Flame, which can nuke anyone in the group, so just keep an eye out for anyone's health dropping. If you're the tank, you need to make sure that you remember he has Chaotic Flame, which is a frontal cleave. You want to tank Ragnoth away from the group. Most of all, everyone needs to remember that he has a spell called Flame of Ragnoth, which will pretty much kill everyone unless you pay attention when Ilium's ghost appears. He'll create like a little safe zone of light for you. So when he appears, just make sure you huddle up next to him and you will be safe. That's about all there is to killing Ragnoth. And when you kill Ragnoth, you will be greeted by Ilium's ghost, and you'll be like, hey, thanks for killing him, you know, 'cause that was important. You'll complete the quest, but it won't appear in a quest log type thing. You'll need to click the icon at the top of your screen, turn in the quest there. Apparently you can repeat the quest over and over again each time you do the dungeon, but you will not receive the loot from it, or the items I should say. So that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you like the video, please hit the like button, comment on it, subscribe, because that would help me a lot. Next, I'm going to be leveling up a Guardian character and doing Garden of Fae, so keep an eye out for that. I'll try to have it up within the next week easily. I'm new to this making YouTube video thing, so if there's anything I'm doing terribly wrong, please help me out. That's about it. I hope you guys keep watching, and I'll see you guys later.